The day she left, there was no fight, no shouting, no warning, just a sentence. "I'm leaving," she said calmly. I thought she was joking. I even smiled a little. "What do you mean?" She looked at me, not with anger, not with emotion, just cold. "I met someone," she said, "and I'm happier with him." Those words didn't hit me all at once. They sank in slowly, like something heavy, pulling me down from the inside. I stood there trying to process it, trying to understand what I was hearing. "Are you serious?" I asked. She nodded. No hesitation. No regret. That hurt more than anything. Because this wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. She walked around the house like it was any normal day, picking up her things, packing calmly. Like she had already moved on, long before this moment. I watched her, silent, useless, like I didn't even belong in my own life anymore. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," she said. Harder? I almost laughed. But nothing came out. Because my voice, my emotions, everything felt stuck. I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to shout, to stop her. But I didn't. Because deep down, I knew something painful. If someone can walk away this easily, they were never really yours. She picked up her bag, walked toward the door, then stopped for a second. "I hope you understand someday," she said. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Because in that moment, I wasn't just losing her. I was losing everything I believed in. She opened the door. And just like that, she was gone. No looking back. No second thoughts. Just gone. And I stood there alone, in a house that suddenly felt empty. Because that day, she didn't just leave me. She left me broken. The house felt different after she left. Too quiet. Too empty. Every corner reminded me of her. Her voice. Her laugh. Even the small things, like the way she left her coffee cup on the table. I couldn't escape it. I sat on the couch that night, just staring at the wall. Not thinking. Not moving. Just there. My phone buzzed a few times. Friends. Family. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know what to say. How do you explain that someone you trusted just walked away like you meant nothing? The nights were the worst. Silence becomes loud when you're alone. My mind kept replaying everything. Her words. Her face. The way she didn't hesitate. "I'm happier with him." That line stayed with me. Like a question I couldn't answer. Was I not enough? Did I miss something? Was there a moment I could have fixed this? I kept asking myself the same questions, over and over again. But no answers came. Just more doubt. More pain. One day I went outside. Just to breathe. And I ran into someone I knew. He looked at me, then looked away quickly. Like he felt sorry for me. That look. It hurt more than anything. Because now it wasn't just my pain. It was public. People knew. People were talking. And I became that guy. The one who got left. The one who wasn't enough. I went back home and sat down again. Same couch. Same silence. But this time, something felt different. Not better. Not yet. Just heavier. Because I realized something I didn't want to accept. She didn't just leave me. She took my confidence. My identity. The version of me that felt strong, that felt worthy. Gone. And I was left with something I didn't recognize anymore. Myself. Broken. Lost. And alone, I stayed like that for days. Maybe weeks. I stopped counting. Time didn't feel real anymore. Every day looked the same. Wake up. Sit. Think. Replay everything. I wasn't living, I was just existing. Then one morning, something small happened. Nothing dramatic. Nothing special. I stood in front of the mirror. And for a second, I didn't recognize the person looking back at me. My eyes looked tired. Empty. Like someone who had given up. I stared at myself for a long time. And then a thought hit me. Clear. Sharp. Uncomfortable. Is this who I am now? That question stayed there. I couldn't ignore it. Because deep down I knew the answer. No. This wasn't me. This was just a version of me, broken by someone else's choice. And that's when something shifted. Not emotionally. Mentally. I realized something simple. She left. That was her decision. But staying like this, that was mine. And I couldn't blame her for that. Not anymore. I took a deep breath, still looking at myself. You're not done, I whispered. My voice felt strange, like I hadn't used it in days. But it felt real. For the first time, it felt honest. That moment didn't fix everything. I was still hurt, still confused, still carrying the weight of what happened. But something changed. I wasn't asking why she left anymore. I was asking something else. What am I going to do now? That question felt different, stronger, because it gave me control. And for the first time since she walked out, I felt a small spark inside me. Not happiness, not confidence, just direction. And sometimes, that's enough to start. Because in that moment, I didn't become strong, but I stopped being weak. And that was the first step toward everything that came next. The next day, I didn't wait. I moved. Not fast. Not perfectly. But I moved. I woke up early, even though I didn't sleep well. The house was still quiet, but this time, it didn't feel as heavy. I put on my shoes and stepped outside. The air felt different. Or maybe I did. I started with small things. A short walk. Then a longer one. Then I pushed myself a little more each day. Not because I felt strong, but because I was tired of feeling weak. I stopped sitting in the same place all day. Stopped replaying the same memories. Every time my mind went back to her, I redirected it. To myself. To what I could control. I cleaned the house. Reorganized everything. Got rid of things that reminded me of her. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. I needed space. Mentally. Emotionally. And slowly, I started building a routine. Wake up early. Move my body. Do something productive. Repeat. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't easy. But it was mine. Days turned into weeks. And something started to change. Not outside. Inside. That heavy feeling in my chest. It got lighter. That constant noise in my head. It got quieter. I wasn't fully okay. Not yet. But I wasn't broken anymore either. I was rebuilding. Piece by piece. Without her. One evening I sat alone again. Same couch. Same room. But this time it felt different. I didn't feel empty. I felt calm. And that's when I realized something important. She left a broken man. But I wasn't staying that way. Because now, I wasn't waiting for her to come back. I was moving forward. Without her. And for the first time. That felt like power. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, people started noticing. "You look different," someone said one day. I didn't answer right away. Because I felt it too. Not just on the outside. Inside. I was waking up with purpose. Moving with focus. Thinking clearly. The same man who couldn't get off the couch was now building something again. My routine became my strength. Morning runs. Long hours of work. Time spent improving myself. Not to prove anything to her, but to prove something to me. That I wasn't broken. That I could stand on my own. And the more I focused on myself, the less I thought about her. Not completely. She still crossed my mind sometimes. But it didn't hurt the same. It didn't control me anymore. One day, I caught my reflection again. Same mirror. Same place. But a different man. My eyes didn't look empty anymore. They looked steady. Confident. Like someone who had been through something and survived it. That moment meant more than anything. Because I didn't need validation anymore. Not from her. Not from anyone. I started going out more. Meeting people. Expanding my world again. And something strange happened. Respect came back. From others. But more importantly, from myself. I wasn't that guy anymore. The one who got left. The one who felt like he wasn't enough. I became someone else. Stronger. Calmer. In control. And for the first time, I realized something powerful. I didn't need her to feel complete. Because I had already rebuilt everything she took from me. And more. Because losing her didn't end my story. It forced me to start a better one. 3 months later, I saw her again. I wasn't expecting it. I was just walking out of a cafe, focused on my day, my routine, my life. Then I heard my name. Soft. Uncertain. I turned around. And there she was. But not the way I remembered her. She looked different. Tired. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying for a long time. For a second, I didn't say anything. Because this wasn't the same woman who walked away without looking back. This version looked broken. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly. Her voice wasn't confident anymore. It wasn't cold. It was fragile. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time, I didn't feel anything. No anger. No pain. No love. Just calm. We sat down. Same table. But a completely different situation. She couldn't even look at me properly. "I made a mistake," she said. Those words. They would have meant everything to me once. But now, they felt empty. "He wasn't who I thought he was," she continued. Everything fell apart. I stayed silent. Listening. But not reacting. Because something inside me already knew. This wasn't about me. This was about her losing something and coming back to what felt safe. "I miss you," she said, her voice breaking. That sentence. It didn't move me. Because I remembered something clearly. She didn't miss me when she left. She didn't think twice. She chose someone else. And now she was back. Not because I changed for her, but because life showed her the truth. I leaned back calm. Composed. And in that moment, everything flipped. The same woman who once left me broken was now sitting in front of me, asking for something I no longer needed to give. And for the first time, I realized just how far I had come. She looked at me, waiting for a reaction, for anger, for emotion, for anything that reminded her of the man she left behind. But I didn't give her that. I just sat there calm. "I know I hurt you," she said softly. I didn't realize what I had." I nodded slowly, not because I agreed, but because I understood something she didn't. Realizing too late changes nothing. "You said you were happier," I replied quietly. She looked down, unable to answer. "I thought I was," she whispered, "but I was wrong." Wrong. That word used to scare me. Now it meant nothing, because her mistake wasn't my responsibility anymore. She reached for my hand. "I want to come back," she said. "We can fix this." I looked at her, not with anger, not with pain, but with clarity. "There's nothing to fix," I said. My voice was steady, unshaken, because I wasn't the same man she left. "You didn't just leave me," I continued. "You walked away from everything we built like it meant nothing." Tears filled her eyes. But I didn't move, because I had already felt that pain. Alone, without her. "I needed you back then," I said, "but now I don't." That truth hit harder than anything else. I stood up slowly, and for the first time in a long time, I felt completely free. She called my name, but I didn't turn around, because I wasn't walking away from her. I was walking forward without her. And I finally understood something powerful. She came back for the man I became, but that man no longer needed her. Because sometimes, the person who breaks you is the reason you become unstoppable. And once you reach that point, you don't go back. You rise.